Welcome to another edition of the Go Noles podcast. I am your host, Gregory McCoy. This podcast is by a fan for fans. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am not an insider. I do not work for a website. The majority of my content comes from me and my opinion. Other information comes from the internet. Nick Saban versus Jimbo Fisher. I've been thinking about what I wanted to say about that whole situation or this whole situation because it's still ongoing. First and foremost, it just comes across as sour grapes on Nick Saban's part. You know, you're mad because you're not getting the top guys now. Texas A&M, Georgia, they're beating you for the top guys. And, you know, anybody with any kind of common sense knows that this is a money game. I don't have a problem with it. The problem that I have is that y'all try to act like these guys are not getting paid by boosters. That's my problem. This whole facade that we do it the right way. There's no, we do everything right. Come on, man. If you are a big-time college football program, winning national championships, you're not doing everything right. You're covering it up so it can't be found. I don't care. I'm not a Texas A&M fan, but I'm a fan of Texas A&M Texas, the football game. So, to see Texas A&M get those guys, and hopefully this can, filter over to Texas, the Longhorns, I welcome that. It just had to have this Florida State, involvement per se, because Jimbo and Dion, I don't care about what Travis Hunter got paid. He obviously got paid, man. He's not going to come to Jackson State because of the black thing. And I'm black, so I can say that. Come on, he got paid. I don't care. Anytime that you have a chance to make money, hundreds of thousands, even millions, you got to jump on it because this game, it's not promised to anybody. You could get hurt in practice and end your career. The next play is not promised to you, so you got to take everything that you can get. And like I told you before on previous episodes, the majority of the athletes that's getting paid are black. If the majority of these players were white, you would not be hearing anything about it. When Arch Manning gets his deal, wherever he goes, the number one high school quarterback, number one player for 2023, I promise you won't hear one word about it. And he will probably sign the largest NIL deal ever to date. And I don't have a problem with it. I don't. It's just the BS that Nick Saban is spewing. First of all, why are you counting another man's money? Why are you worried about another school's recruits? Focus on Alabama. Okay? You've won 6 national championships at Alabama, and you're crying about somebody else getting better recruits than you? Stop. It's sour grapes, man. Okay? Texas A&M has oil money. They have deep, 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 deep pockets. Okay? So this was to be expected. And like I said before, I don't have a problem with it. I just hate the facade that NIL, there were no NIL deals before NIL. We knew this stuff was happening. In the grand scheme of things, I really don't care about what Alabama or Texas A&M does. I just felt like I needed to speak on it just from the Florida State connection. I really just think it's hilarious that, you know, Saban couldn't have just went to these guys, his boosters, privately and just asked for more money. I think, there was intent to basically put Texas A&M under the microscope by the NCAA. And, it's just a low blow for somebody that quote unquote is high character like Nick Saban to do that. I thought it was hilarious when I first heard it. I was just like, Saban is just, sour grapes because he's not getting the best of the best. And it's just, everybody knows what Alabama does, man. If you really just look at the timeline, you just go back 20 years and all the stuff that Alabama was going through until now. And it makes perfect sense that they're buying players, which, again, anytime a kid has an opportunity to increase his finances, help himself, help his family, I'll never have an issue with that. So, no ill will towards the player, no ill will towards the person that's giving the player money. It's always the powers that be that try to put on this facade, that this doesn't happen when we know it does. So, listen, man, at some point, you just gonna have to open up the floodgates. So, this whole thing, I keep hearing everybody saying guardrails. So, one of the very interesting things that I heard over the last couple of days was somebody said you just go where the market dictates that you go. So if a job is offering you $100,000 and another job is offering you $30,000, you're gonna take the $100,000. So, kids, recruiting shouldn't come down to how much money a kid can make. Why not? Why? You take the best job based on your salary. So, listen, man, miss me with the whole ethical BS. Okay? Let these young black athletes get paid. Because like I said before earlier in the show, man, earlier in the podcast, it's the majority of people that's getting money right this second are black. That's why that's why this thing is big news. Okay? If the top NIL money maker was white and was making millions of dollars, you trust me, you would not hear one word about it. And I ain't trying to play the racial thing, but it's a fact. It's a fact. Okay? Black athletes are more scrutinized than white athletes. And they can do the same crime or do the same whatever. And it's just the facts. I try to stay out of the racial, political, whatever, but if you got any kind of half a brain cell, you see what this is, man. It's undeniable, because to the best of my knowledge, I haven't really seen that the top 5 money getters are quarterbacks. The USC quarterback that transferred from Oklahoma, the quarterback up at Ohio State, Your boy down in Alabama, quarterback. I can't think of the other dude, but I know those three guys are at the top. So again, just to drive that point home, man, if you got any kind of common sense, you see what this is. So, but like I said, next season, when your boy from the quarterback, Arch Manning, gets his deal, he will probably sign the biggest deal in NIL history thus far. And we'll just see how that's going to be addressed. Will the scrutiny, will these cutthroats have the same energy? I don't think they're going to. Just my opinion. And white, black, green, yellow, orange, if you play sports in college and with the advent of NIL and somebody offers you money, I take it. Nothing's promised to you. Take the money while you can take it. You know, if you don't think race plays a big role in just everyday life, sports, wherever, you're missing the boat. I mean, with the exception of the four major sports in this country, with the exception of hockey, I mean, the four major sports is dominated by black people. Yet we don't have a lot of people in positions of leadership. And when we do get people in positions of leadership and they're successful, they're not, they're not, recognized for their achievements. But when you have black people in positions of leadership and they do a bad job, then you have pundits from various sports networks come out and just, trash them. And, I say that because now you have NIL and you have some of these black athletes getting paid. And, it's we got to put guardrails up. We got to do this. We got to do that. Well, if NIL was around when Trevor Lawrence came out, I guarantee you he would have got a big deal and he would have been worth the money because he was a great college quarterback. And, just the white pundits on various networks would have been singing his praises. And, it's just the hypocrisy of the whole situation. Right? And, there's a deeper issue with this whole Alabama, Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban thing. There's an underbelly to it. And it's rooted in control. I want to control where these players go. Right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about money. It's just control. And, it is what it is, man. I'm not a fan of either one of these teams. I'm just speaking on it because it's an issue. And, Florida State is somewhat linked to this because of the former coach and the former player and Deion Sanders. And, I just felt compelled to speak on it. But, I mean, I knew it was going to be drama when they did the NIL thing. I just didn't think it would be to this level. I didn't think somebody like Nick Saban at Alabama, everybody knows that y'all buy players. You can deny it all you want, but come on, man. Nobody is coming to Tuscaloosa, Alabama for tradition and atmosphere. Okay? Nobody, true enough that you can basically make it to the NFL. If you're a good player at Alabama, you're going to get drafted. True enough. But, those 3 seasons that you have to wait to get to the league, come on, man. We know what's going on. And my problem is not with the player getting paid. It's the hypocrisy, the denial, and the we do everything right attitude. I don't look at a player getting paid as a bad thing. Okay? This is a form of entertainment, first and foremost. It's a game. So I don't sit here and act like it's life or death. Okay, but there is a degree of danger in playing football. There is a severe risk of injury and permanent health when you play this game. So I feel like these guys should be compensated. And I don't want to hear nothing about no scholarship. Because most of these guys that go to college and play college football, they don't graduate at the big time schools anyway. Most of them don't. So, but for those that do get a scholarship and go on and get their degrees and whatever, congratulations. Yeah. But in my humble opinion, you have to, let the market dictate how much these players get. I don't think it should be regulated. Now, I think there should be some form of no tampering. You can't call up, some other team's best player and say, hey, if you come here, we'll give you such and such amount of money. I think there should be rules in place for that. But if the player just willingly goes into the portal and says, I'm going to wherever, Texas, USC, Oregon, Oklahoma, wherever, there shouldn't be some kind of show cause investigation. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous how this thing is being, played out. And like I said, I would bet my last dollar that if these athletes were white, this would not even be news, man. But soon as a brother start getting a little money in his pocket, you got to regulate it. It's got to be stipulations. It's got to be regulations. It's got to be rules. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. And, if you listen to this podcast and you offended by what I'm saying, don't listen. But these are facts that people in this country need to face. There's just, it's crazy. I guarantee, and I keep saying this, when Arch Manning, comes out, when he graduates high school and comes to play college football, he will get a big money deal, and I guarantee you won't hear nothing about it. If he goes to Texas, Georgia, Alabama, he is going to get paid. And it won't even make the news. Watch what I tell you. You won't see nothing on the big sports network saying Arch Manning, number one quarterback in the 2023 class, signs for $2 million with whoever. You won't hear nothing about it. But like you say, you got a receiver from Pittsburgh that wants to go get some money, and it's national news. So it's just the media, the hypocrisy. I hate it all. And I just wish that I just wish it wasn't like that. But I mean, that's another story for another time. Like I said before on previous shows, I know this is the Go Noles podcast, but this is a big time issue in college football. I don't think you ever have to worry about Florida State being in this type of position, because they ain't got no money. Okay, we got boosters, but not to the level of a Texas A&M. Okay, we talking hundreds of millions when we talking Texas A&M. We talking damn near billions. Okay, oil money. So you don't have to worry about that. I mean, we got maybe, our donors are probably 30, 40, 50 million dollars rich. Okay, chump change. Relatively speaking, that's a lot of money, but when you're going up against the likes of Georgia, Alabama, Texas A&M, those schools in the SEC, that's play money. So we'll see what happens. Racism is just undeniable in this country, man. And And, you don't have to look any further. I think that the NIL thing is based in racism because they don't want, various individuals in this country don't want to see black athletes get paid. It's been some white athletes to go into the portal and go to other schools, and they've gotten big money deals, but you haven't heard about those guys. You just see the black athletes on TV, plastered on TV. Oh, he got 1.2, he got 500,000, but you don't see the white guys. So racism is undeniable in this country, man. I look no further than the mass shooting in Buffalo. How does this guy make it out alive? The police talked this dude down. He was armed. Goes into a black supermarket, kills multiple black people, and he's taken alive, man. Okay? If I look at a white person wrong, I might die. You know? I laugh, but I'm being serious. So we got a real problem in this country, man, but racism is a part of every aspect of life in this country. Sports, whatever, everyday life. And it's just undeniable. And I just wish the haters out there that don't want to see these guys get paid, I wish y'all would just go, live under a rock. These guys put their lives on the line, their safety, their well-being. They choose to do it. I know that, for entertainment, to entertain you. And they can't get paid. So, that's my rant. I'm going to get off this. So, if I've offended anybody by my comments on this podcast, I don't care. So, for those of you that listen, no matter what, thank you. If you support the podcast, thank you. If you listen religiously, thank you. It's available on YouTube. It's available on all podcast platforms. And I didn't really talk about Florida State that much because I wanted to get into this NIL and just the racist BS that goes on in this country. So again, as always, go Noles.